If you had your phone and you dropped it on the floor, would you be like, oh my God, my phone's cracked. This is awful. Whatever. It's too late now. So then you start smashing it on the ground and you're like, ah. Hey guys, in today's video, I wanted to talk about the all or nothing mindset and how to avoid it. In case you don't know, this mindset is when you think you have to do all or nothing. So say if you fall off track a little bit, there's not just a little bit, it escalates into something more. Or you're just either going so hard with your routine or nothing at all. It's obviously just not the most beneficial way of thinking at all, because if you think this way, you won't really ever maintain results. And I know this because I've been there. That's why I struggled for so long, because I was just like the most all or nothing. I'm kind of naturally like that. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 3 tips or 3 different things to tell yourself when you feel yourself heading down the path of all or nothing. Dun dun dun. The first one, this is something that I told myself back in like the last time when I was like, enough is enough, something needs to change, I need to stop yo-yo dieting. This was something that kind of was in my mind for a while. It's something I would tell myself. What would a healthy, balanced person do in this situation? I was so used to, say I'm having some type of treat. I was so used to just having so much of it and devouring it. And that was just kind of what I was used to doing. So instead, I would sit back and be like, okay, well, what would a balanced, healthy person do in this situation? And it would kind of put it into perspective. Because I don't know if you've ever, when you're around somebody and you're eating and they just seem so like healthy with, not like healthy, like they just seem so balanced with their food. They eat a bit and then they're like, yeah, I'm full now, and they put it away. Meanwhile, you're like devouring all the snacks. So I can remember times where I met someone behaving that way and I was like, oh yeah, that's an option. You don't have to eat it all. So then I would kind of think of those types of people when I was struggling and being like, okay, so like some people will only have a few bites of things and they'll stop, because when you've done it for so long, you honestly forget that it's an option. I still do sometimes. I have to remind myself. So yeah, that is a little thing to remind yourself. Number 1, what would a healthy, balanced person do in this situation? So little thing to think of, number 2, is this is a really awesome analogy. I got this from, I didn't make this one up. I can't remember who I found it from, but it was Jordan Syatt. Anyways, if your gas tank was empty and you only had enough money to fill up a quarter of the tank, would you just keep driving around with it on empty just because you couldn't fill it up all the way? Probably not. No, you wouldn't. So same goes for workouts. Say you're extra busy and you don't have time for your typical 45 minutes to an hour. That's fine. You could honestly, even just a 15 to 20 minute workout is always better than nothing. And it's the same thing as tip number 1, where you almost forget that that's an option. And like, this is again something I have to something I have to remind myself of, because there'll be times where I'm really busy. I forget that a 20-minute workout is an option, and I'll think, oh, I don't have time to work out today. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I could just do something shorter. So it sounds so simple, but in the moment, it's easy to forget. So keep that one in mind. Just because you can't fill up the gas tank all the way doesn't mean you don't need to fill it up a little bit. So the third one is one of my good old time classic favorite analogies, and that is the phone smashing analogy. So this one is a good one to relate to food. The analogy is that if you had your phone and you dropped it on the floor and it got a little crack in the screen, would you be like, oh my God, my phone's cracked, this is awful? And then you would just be like, well, whatever, it's too late now. So then you start smashing it on the ground and you're like, ah. No, you wouldn't. You would pick it up and you would just be more careful. It's the same thing if you fall off track with your food. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, I had extra snacks, I ate more than I was supposed to, oh my God, who cares, I'm just gonna eat everything in sight. It's the same thing where it's like, okay, maybe I've eaten more than planned today, maybe it didn't go as well as I would have liked, but I don't need to make it worse. I can just get right back on track and carry on with my life. And again, this was a natural thing for me. It was like, it wasn't always even a conscious thing. It wasn't always even like oh, I messed up, so I'm just gonna keep eating bad. It was kind of just like it just started happening without me even realizing. I'd overeat, I'd start falling off track, and then I'd just keep going and going without even thinking stopping is an option. Honestly, a lot of it comes down to really being mindful. So this is where long-term practicing meditation can actually really help, because you start to notice your behaviors more rather than just going through the motions. It took like honestly over a year until I actually noticed the benefits from meditation. It was slow and hard. It did not come easy. It can help with staying on track, just because again, you just notice your thoughts. You're like, okay, I'm having thoughts of eating that entire cake over there. I wonder why. Like, you'll think about it more. Whereas before, depending on the type of person you are, this is how I was at least. Before, I would just be like, oh my God, this is a thought. I'm gonna follow it and go have that whole cake. And it doesn't mean I'm perfect. Sometimes I still eat more than ideal, but it does make a big difference. So those are our 3 little things to tell yourself if you feel like you're about to spiral out of control. Number 1 is think, what would a healthy, balanced person do in this situation? Number 2 is if you're the gas tank analogy. So if your gas tank was empty and you couldn't fill it all the way up, you wouldn't drive around with it empty. You just fill it up a bit. And the last one, the third one, is the phone smashing analogy. That is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!